Welcome to another edition of Our City. I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday season, and as we begin the new year in this cold weather, I hope everyone in Elizabeth is staying extremely warm. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week. On Wednesday at 12 noon, I will deliver the 2015 State of the City address during the annual Rotary Club meeting at the Garden Restaurant. And also on Tuesday of this week, I delivered it before the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce, and I'm sure it can be seen here on the TV station as well. On Friday, January 16th at 7 o'clock, the Peruvians for Progress Board of Directors swearing-in ceremony. This event will be located at the Union County Courthouse in the Freeholders Meeting Room on the 6th floor of the Administration Building, located at 10 Elizabethtown Plaza. I would like to remind everyone that on Monday, January 19th, City Hall will be closed in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The citywide ceremony will be held at 10 o'clock that morning at Our Lady of Fatima Church on Route 1. If you need more events concerning these or any other, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. Please stay with us after this message.
Where will the next generation of scientists come from? Right here. Kean University.
Before we begin this evening's show, I'd like to show you a video of what this evening's show is going to be about.
Kean University has a Human Rights Institute whose mission is to educate and motivate students to get involved in the community, get involved in this world to make a difference. We hear about problems in the world, and we largely remain bystanders to those problems because we're busy and those things seem far away or difficult to change. When you decide to get off the sidelines, you move from being a bystander to an upstander. You stand up in defense of people's human rights and human dignity. So it's really studying and understanding and then acting. And I think that's the core of what the Human Rights Institute is all about. I'm very, very excited to be connected to Kean University because the idea that there is a Human Rights Institute at the university focused specifically on how to defend and promote human rights is terribly important to me. So I want to be affiliated with that, build it, and help the students and the faculty here make a big difference. You're here at Kean University learning the things that you want to learn, but you're also learning how to make an impact in the world.
Thank you. Tonight's show, we're talking with the students from the Robert Bush School of Design, the Enough Project, Look Who's Getting Engaged campaign. So I'm pleased to be joined by Ms. Nicole Trusa, who is an interactive advertising major. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Max Friedman, who is a graphic design major. Ms. Ria Venturina, an interactive and advertising major. Ms. Maria Finelli, who is a graphic design major. Ms. Tiffany Louie, who is a graphic design major, and of course the professor of design, Ms. Robin Landa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks.
So I'm glad you took the time to come here this evening, and we've got a few questions to go through, so they've helped me with all of this. And we're going to start with you, Nicole, okay?
Sure.
So we'd like you to begin the discussion to please tell us about John Pendergrass, who we just saw in the video, his visit to your class.
So back in October of last year, John came to our class and he wanted to educate us about an initiative that is going on in Africa to raise awareness about all of the atrocities and genocide that is happening. And he asked our class to break off into groups and come up with a student-to-student campaign idea that we could bring to college campuses to make students on campus more aware about all of the atrocities that are going on in Africa right now. So during our class, we broke off into groups, and when we did that, we came up with a campaign idea that John was really pleased with. And from there, we were contacted by Greg Hittleman, who is the director of communications for the Enough Project. And from there, he wanted us to work with him to work on the Engaged campaign.
So why did you pick your class, Nicole?
I mean,
Because of you? He picked you.
yeah, I guess so. I guess he had an interest in what the Robert Bush School of Design was doing and kind of the classwork that we were doing. And since he had this project idea, he wanted to use us as a resource to see what we could come up with.
So, Max, I understand that John asked you to do a design presentation for him.
He did.
Can you,
Oh, sure.
there you go.
There we go. Yeah, so at the end of this whole group presentation that he asked us to do for him, he was so impressed with what we had come up with. In a short span of like 30 minutes, we came up with these three different campaign ideas, and then he showed us something else that he had been working on, and he said, "What do you guys think of this?" And we were like, "Well, it needs a bit of work." And who better to make it look better than the school's greatest design students, I guess.
So your classmates, what did you actually recommend at the end of the session? What did you?
So we recommended to him, like, listen, give us this. It was a promotional deck to show to donors to allow them to donate money to various causes. And in this specific case, it was like we said, okay, we'll take the deck and we'll make it look better for you using our knowledge that from Robin's class and all of our other classes on typography and layout and color and all of our knowledge of design, basically, and just make this look better so he can get as much money and exploitation from the donors as he possibly could.
So are you happy with what he picked, or you don't know what?
So what we had designed for this particular deck was kind of top secret at the moment, but we were all
can't
really
even tell me.
Can't even tell the mayor. It's that secret. So we were all pretty happy with how it came out. Again, we can't really show anything yet because it's in the works, but we were pretty happy, and they were obviously happy enough with it that they.
So when it's done,
more.
you're going to come back on the show and tell me what it was.
We'll come back like,
Okay.
This is it. Yes.
Okay. So Rhea, would you please outline the origin of the Look Who's Getting Engaged campaign project?
Yeah, so what Nikki said, it did start out with the classwork, but the assignment that was given to us on that day was to create a student-to-student ad campaign to raise awareness for conflict-free gold. And we came up with this presentation, which he loved, and a couple days later, Greg Hittleman then calls us again with a different task, and that was the Look Who's Getting Engaged campaign. So that task, though, was kind of different than what we're about this global campaign right now, but it was more about creating a print ad for different companies to show that they're getting engaged, to show us that we're getting engaged. So we had to look at Facebook content. We had to look at what would look like if it was on a poster, what it look like if it would look like on a Twitter, and if you were to join, what would that look like in general? And I guess he liked that so much again, because a couple days later he calls back with the same campaign but a different task, and that was to create a celebration concept to show that these companies are going to be the leaders of this whole campaign.
So, Rhea, before this campaign, were you aware of the role of this conflict gold plays in supporting the deplorable activities?
I did into some factors.
So you heard about it ahead, or you didn't?
I did.
You did.
But I didn't know the intensity of the overall problem. I just knew that it was just like blood diamonds. It was just, I wouldn't say a normal thing, but I did hear about it, but not to the extent of like the different militia groups that are involved in it, how much smuggling it was actually causing and how much it was worth that they were doing. All
And this
the
is in
lives
the
lost.
Congo, or this is elsewhere in Africa?
Congo.
Congo, okay. So, Maria, conflict gold comes from the illicit gold mining and smuggling in Congo that Rhea just talked about, and currently funds and fuels armed groups that are responsible for terrible crimes and atrocities in the eastern Congo, including child soldiers, rape, and torture. So why did the campaign need to take a constructive approach, and how did you go about that?
Well, I mean, we didn't want, we wanted to gain support, and I think that that's what they initially wanted to do too, is to gain a large sort of span of support. Instead of penalizing companies that weren't doing as much as they could, they really wanted to celebrate the companies that were taking the initiative and were sort of, being aware of where their gold is being sourced from. So the positive reinforcement was, something that they leaned more toward, and they wanted to sort of promote that and get a bigger social media following and a consumer-based following. So they felt that that would be more helpful.
These are legitimate companies doing business on the gold, or these are illicit companies doing the business?
Well, it's being mined and smuggled by war criminals that are, I mean, this is not obviously legal, but
Right.
these companies don't necessarily know where their gold is being,
The legitimate
sourced.
companies don't know how they're getting the gold, is what
Yeah,
you're
so
saying.
this is really pushing the idea of just being aware of it and trying to make sure that you're taking all the steps necessary to get the, gold from a very ethical source.
And what was your role in all of this?
So I helped with a lot of the graphic design and producing the concepts and executing them and presenting them, so.
Okay. And Rhea, you're the project manager on this?
Yes.
Oh, how did that happen? Did you get voted in?
I guess so. No, it was more of like the liaison. It was just, I guess, luck too, because around the time when Greg could call, it was when I was free. So I guess that's how it started.
You're very modest, Rhea. you just happened to be there to take the call. So, and you became the project manager. Tiffany is next to you. Please tell us, Tiffany, about the design concepts the team considered, knots, rings, etc. Talk about some of those. Highlight them.
When we first heard the project, the first things we thought about were how can we symbolize engagement. So we just went with the obvious, more obvious things, which are rings and boxes. But then we started thinking more outside of the box with pictures, because in today's age, a lot of people use social media and stuff. So when you first get engaged, like what a lot of people do is they post about it. So that's where we got that concept, and showing pictures of people getting engaged or the ring. And then with the knots and the ribbons, we did the whole tying the knot. And in order to tie a knot, that symbolizes the whole being together and the bondness and just having a strong connection with one another. With the balloon concept, we did that because it symbolizes celebration, like overall celebration of being engaged and finding someone that is for you and stuff like that.
So this is a great collective.
Yeah.
This was not an individual, hey,
No, it was-
let's do the knot, let's do the ring thing.
No, it was everyone's ideas, and we just all kind of got together and just went from there.
So you all work together on all of this?
Yes. Yeah, it's
So-
a team effort.
So Robin, I've heard the name Greg Hittleman. How is he referred to your team and why?
He referred to this team as his all-star team.
He did.
And I think we do have, rather than paraphrasing Greg, I think we do have Greg on tape for everybody to hear what he said about them.
I think we're going to get to that a little later then,
Oh,
right?
we'll get that to later. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So Max, the supportive design culture at Kean, is that
Is it there? Yes,
is
of
it
course.
there? That's because it's you hear about it,
Yeah.
and
I mean-
I teach public administration
Oh, okay.
courses here, so I know there's that. But how do
Yeah.
the students feel about it?
I mean, as opposed to other design schools where each individual kind of works at their own pace and everyone is in competition with one another, like I'm going to get a job, you're not, that kind of mindset. I feel like at Kean, it's like where one person succeeds, everyone succeeds. So everyone is always giving constructive criticism or helping each other with each other's homework, or whether it's your portfolio, whatever you need help with, everyone is there to assist each other because everyone wants to succeed, everyone wants to get a job together. So we're always in constant support of each other, and the professors are always supporting their students. Anything you need help with, you go to any professor, even if you've never had them, and they're glad to help with whatever you need.
So Nicole, tell me what makes the design culture at Kean unique?
It's so unique because, like Max said, we all come together, and it's really a family dynamic, and it's just a team and
I love
a
that family
family.
dynamic.
Yeah.
So Maria, you
That's
feel
really
the same
best
way?
way to
Family.
describe it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, someone else's victory almost becomes your victory because, you were rooting for them the whole time, so.
So, ladies in the top row there, the family organization that Nicole spoke about. It's an interesting thing to hear from students. Two of you graduated already?
The three of us,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good. Does it continue after graduation, this family dynamic? You're still rooting for each other.
I think, yeah, because we have spent so much time together. We have like 6-hour classes, so within that we have multiple classes together. So I think that bond that we've built over the years definitely stays. I'm still in contact with them even after school is done. Like I would text them once in a while just to see how they're doing.
I have an undergraduate and a graduate degree. I've never, ever in my life been in a 6-hour class. So,
It's not as bad as you think it is.
6-hour class?
It flies
When
by.
you enjoy
yeah,
what you're doing,
exactly. It flies
goes
by.
really quickly.
It does. Okay. So Max, are you the one that encouraged collaboration?
like
'Cause the
in the
question is
entire
for you,
department?
yeah.
All right. I single-handedly collaborate now. I mean, I always try to do my best in whatever work that I'm working on, and I love to see when my friends or even just people that I'm working with in general, I love seeing like other people when they are excited about a design that they're doing, I get excited as well. So, and it's much easier for people to succeed individually or as a group when you're working with people that you admire or people that can really help you. So, I mean, I'm always trying to help people as much as I can. So, trying to encourage, I guess, collaboration between me and them and other people. Because again, like. You never know how someone could help your design. I mean, one mind is multiple minds are obviously greater than one. So collaboration is key.
You got to coin that quote.
I got to write it down.
Yeah, write that one down.
I'll write it down
so,
right now.
Nicole, you're a senior?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the value of real-world professional experience that you may have acquired here at Kean?
Sure. Well, actually, I just graduated, and I found that a lot of the experiences that I gained through Kean have helped me today as a growing designer. And I've had a lot of professional experiences. I interned at 2 creative agencies, which really helped to show me what it's going to be like to work in a professional environment. I've also, through the connections of one of my other professors, Denise Anderson, was allowed to go to New York City and be a student judge at the New Jersey Packaging Executives Club Package of the Year contest. And that was really awesome because I was working with a panel of professional judges and voting on real packaging that's out in the market today to give them awards for different design criterias and categories. So it's all been really awesome, and I've made so many connections.
Do you start here as a freshman?
I did.
Okay. And this is always a desire of yours to do?
It has
design?
been. I've never had a second thought about doing anything else.
Okay.
So right away as a freshman, I jumped into, thanks to Robin, I jumped right into my fundamental design courses, and I found that each one was really unique and different from one another. And I thought that was great because it allowed me to just get a really well-rounded education. And yeah.
So since you mentioned Robin, let me ask you about students. I mean, how do you go from year to year? This class special? You want to pass that mic?
Sure.
This class special, Robin?
They are special, but I
They're
love
all
them.
special.
They're all special. I love them all. This group happened to have particular chemistry with one another, and I do want to say that when John Prendergast came to my class, we didn't expect this to be an ongoing project. So I had to keep teaching the class, and I allowed them, and I was trepidatious at first, to just run with it. And I would say I had minor input into it. They took over. They did it all on their own.
So Maria, what is your motivation to work on this project? Why do this? Why do the extra stuff?
Well, I mean, it was for a really great cause, and I felt like, and I think I speak for all of us when, in saying that if we could help, if we had the tools and the skills to help them, we definitely would have, and we did. And it feels great to be able to say that we did and to continually, be a part of it.
So your design skills and the ideas, do you think they matter to society?
Absolutely. Designers are creative problem solvers. I mean, they're given a task.
Another good quote.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, write that one down.
Yeah, so, I mean, we solve problems visually, and that's inherently a necessary tool for, for any functioning member of society. And we can empower, companies and just other establishments, and it's a tremendous power to be able to change behavior the way that design does. So to be able to harness it and use it to influence people to donate to a cause like this, or to be aware, of where ethically you're sort of getting gold or getting any kind of resource, it's definitely it's a responsibility and a privilege, I would say.
So Tiffany, you graduated as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you get what do you think your academic career was like? Have you been here since a freshman as well?
I have been, but actually freshman year I was actually a marketing major, and going into my
good for you. You saw the light, right, Robin? Yeah.
Yeah, and then going into my sophomore year, I actually switched over to the graphic design major.
What made you do that?
Well, throughout high school, I actually took graphic design courses, but I don't know. I've always been kind of like wanted to go into marketing for a reason. I'm not too sure. I think it's probably because my parents all like were marketing or finance majors. But once I actually started taking marketing classes, I found out that like I realized that it wasn't for me. Like I'm not a numbers person to be sitting at a desk or a cubicle. I'm more of a creative person that would want to create things. So that's why I ended up switching. Because I had also the experience from high school of doing graphic design, I actually enjoyed doing it.
So Max, you also started as a freshman, and now you're in your senior year.
Yes.
And they tell me you're a published author, designer, and illustrator?
I am.
That's just too much for a mouthful here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have a book here, Mr.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Look at this.
Just so happened to have it.
Notes on color.
Yeah. So I was approached by, I think last year by the executive director, Rose Ganella, and I was interning for her at the time, working
What
on
is
various
that?
projects. You'll have to read it to find out.
Oh, okay.
So we were working on various projects, and she was approached by Peach Pit Publishing, and they were like, "We want you to do a series of books on the fundamentals of design." And she came to me and was like, "Would you like to help with this?" And I said, "Of course." And so it started out as kind of us throwing ideas back and forth, and it developed into something much greater. And now we're on the third book in the series, and yeah, it's an incredible opportunity.
So the books that you designed, illustrate, and write, you want to continue in that area? Or what do you think? What do you think's up for you in the future, I guess?
I don't know. It's so fun being able to, obviously it's fun being able to write and illustrate and design these books that are going out to hundreds of thousands of students, and these books are actually being used as required text in a few college classes already. And
so did Kean help you become a designer and illustrator?
I suppose they did. I would have never, who knows, if I had gone to another school or if I had taken a different route, I would never have had any of these opportunities, especially this opportunity. To have 3 books published as a senior still in school is incredible, and I'm so thankful for it. Kean definitely helped me go down that path and find out what I want to do.
So how is, real quick, we got about 2 minutes left, working in advertising and design solutions for the Enough Project, what has it meant to you? What is it, real quick, Nicole? What has it meant to you doing this?
It's really just been so valuable. I mean, just being able to apply all of the skills and knowledge that we've learned in school so far towards
This
making
project.
an impact in the world, it's really incredible.
Maria, what do you think?
In addition to that, it meant that we were able to contribute from miles and miles away. So,
Maria?
I was going through my quarter-life crisis before this.
Quarter-life crisis.
Yeah, and I didn't...
Another movable quote.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I guess at that point, before this opportunity, I really had no idea, and I was kind of freaking out a little bit. But I guess from all the kind words from Greg Hittleman and from Robin, and obviously all my peers, it was kind of like a sign that this is where I'm supposed to go.
Tiffany, we're going to close with you. What's your thought?
Pretty much what Nikki said, like the whole impact thing. It's crazy that we design something that we think is so small, but within the world, it's like it's a huge impact, and that we'll be able to like spread what's going on around the world.
So I want to thank all of you for being on the show, and I want to know when this is no longer a secret. Yeah. And then you can, and I come back on the show, and maybe you can tell me what the secret was, and we can do this again. Mm-hmm. So thanks and Robin, thanks for your leadership and your ability to be a great professor and teaching these young people great things. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I'm Chris Bolwage, and for Dr. Robin Landa, Professor of Design, Miss Tiffany Louie, Miss Maria Finelli, Miss Ria Venturini, Mr. Max Friedman, Miss Nicole Trussa, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Offering everything you could want from college, including a life. Kean University.